So, Kamen Rider. Yeah, we'll get to the thing in the thumbnail in a moment. First, we need to go through the usual rigmarole of this guy. So this guy was Collectible Minifigures Series 20 Super Warrior. I'll swap out his weapons, something that I feel is a little more sort of, unusual than just crackly energy sword. Not doing anything against that, it's just that I figured that, from a Tokusatsu perspective, the Parasite would be a more marketable toy. So, here we have him using a rider kick on a Ninjago villain whose name I forget. I honestly picked this guy up because I like the design. Let's just set him off to the side and keep going. So, this is just kind of a nothing build. I just wanted enough stand to get him in a good rider kick position. Yeah, it's also using the thumbnail, as you probably can guess, to get the bike into position. And so very quick review of this guy first. Really nice design, nice printing. Kind of a Super Sentai vibe with the red base colour, but at the same time there's no denying that helmet is very Kamen Rider with the crest and the eyes and everything. Face printing is generic but heroic. On now to the bike, which is a standard minifigure bike. I believe this originally had stickers on the sides. I say that because I got it unstickered but with sticker gunk still left on, so I actually dealt with that right before filming. So let's quickly get him into position and on the bike. I just quickly assembled this as the approximate right colour scheme. And, well, when it comes to Japanese robots, there is a right way and a wrong way to introduce them. And with that in mind, I think it's time for some stock footage. Okay, and now we'll call up to the big guy from the thumbnail. So, first things first, a couple of Bricklink style included business cards, let's include those. One Stop Bricky. I think we've used that a few times, they're nice and reliable, they're basically everywhere, worth checking out. And Bricktastic, they managed to pull off next day delivery, always great. Usually get a bunch of times, really like them. There's a QR code if you want to check them out. So, the big guy himself then. So, let's start off with, as you saw during the stock footage, the bike is very well contained within this guy. It sticks out the back and the front a bit, but that's to be expected. The head sits a little further forward than I'd like, but there's nothing I can really do about that. It's just a side effect of the where the minifig head ends up, and thus where the biggest hollow part needs to be. So, we have then shoulder plates on enough for a pivot basically to get out of the way for posing. So you can get about that far up, and then the rest of the arm can go out that far. It can go forward and back, no problem. I'm going to be swapping out these pieces for boat studs. I got one last order on the way with that, but I couldn't wait to film this. Hands then, you got full set of fingies and a thumb, so we can give you the thumbs up. Always nice to see. What a polite guy. What a cool guy. Other arm, obviously, is the same. No head articulation, really. And the closest you can get is if you slide this clip back and forth on the joint, you can get some very slight turn, which isn't especially useful. And more importantly, it's a pain in the ass to recenter it. As I will now demonstrate. Hopefully without popping anything else off. So that's back on. get that back into the right spot. Waist swivel is the weakest joint on the build. If I can figure out a better way of doing it, I'll switch to it, to be honest, but the issue is that, like, you only have that much space in which to do something. So, you know, options pretty limited, I'd say. Let's move the arms out to the side for the hips. Legs go forward all the way, back all the way, out all the way. 9-degree bend at the knee, can hold itself without any real trouble. Feet on the ball joint, basic swivel, and I designed them with this cutout of half a stud so you can get a really good ankle tilt on the go. Just to demonstrate that, let's get them a little more tilted. And yeah, I don't know how to describe that pose. So, let's do the weapons next, actually. So the weapons... Yeah, so I ended up designing basically a larger version of the regular minifig-sized Sai, I forget how it's pronounced. I mean, yeah, the bar there is so it can clip into the hand. So let's go ahead and do that. Just open up the fingies. Actually, let's just palm up so you can see what we're doing here. Bring that down a bit. Enhance. Enhance. Focus, thank you. Then swivel that out a little to make space. Tap that in there. Thumb. Fingies. And we're set. And yeah, you can hold them basically no problem. Let's just bring them out a bit. And yeah, that's about all there is to be said about the weapons, apart from the final thing that they can do. So let's go ahead and open the hand. And open the hand. Reattach the little clip. Yeah, I do wish that was a little more secure, but nothing really to be done about it. So you take these two extra tubes, you slide the handle off of one of the sides, and plug this on. You then plug the other tube onto the handle, and the other handle on, and finally plug this in. And this just goes back into the hand the other way up. Now this was actually worked out with some of the other builders on the Lego World Builder Discord server that I'll include a link to in the description, because I may as well. And yeah, he now has a thumb that's fallen off. Yeah, hands aren't 100% stable, that's the one. Hands is not the one weakness of this build, but at the same time I want to try something with this style of like 4 fingers, you know. I've seen it done, now I use it myself, and I do quite like it. For this part, I also prefer to kind of close up the blades just to get a little more of a different appearance. And let's bring that up and out. And there we go. Yeah, so the only thing left to talk about now is the head. Yeah, so the original design for the head was basically I was trying to figure out how to give this guy a head, as originally he didn't have the helmet, and so actually let's just slide this off there. It would have looked more like this, which, you know, is still cool, just a little sillier. I still like it though. The head, let's get a closer look at it. Coincidentally, while I was trying to figure out a way of doing a head that would fit over the minifig head, Moko Brick Laboratory channel uploaded a video that I'm going to link up here. And I took the basic design, made a few alterations to make it as hollow as possible, basically, and to give the minifig head as much clearance as possible. And ended up with this, but the visor, and it's the visor design, which I'm just going to pop off and show you now, is entirely Moko's doing. But, you know, hollow it out a little, so you got the 2x2 sort of wedge type plate here that goes into there. And then one of these designed for sort of interacting with slopes and such. It turns out the geometry is just right, that can just peg on and form a really good looking forehead crest. So, yeah, why did I build this in the first place? Because it just felt like a cool idea. You know, I picked up the minifig and thought, hey, if this is a Kamen Rider type character, why not design the kind of mid-season upgrade that doesn't get used that much because it eats up too much of the effects budget on account of being entirely CGI. I'd say this kind of captures that whole vibe pretty well. Like, this is the kind of thing you get shortly before an upgraded form that's more powerful than this, so they can switch to a suit and not have to use a large, fully CG component in too many scenes. Yeah, I think this is something like, what was it, Watermelon Arms from Gaim? Or the Power Dizer from Forze, that kind of thing. You know, your general sort of, well, Power Dizer wasn't mid-season, was used fairly regularly, but yeah, the idea, you know, is something that, similar to how the, I swapped in the size for the minifig weapons because it'd make a better roleplay toy, this would make a cooler action figure, basically, where you could get, like, you know, probably the biker, a non-posable version of whatever this guy ends up being called. But the bike would obviously work with a fully posable one still separately, because, you know, merchandising. And, yeah, you could kind of plug in, the mech could close up around it, as this one does. And, yeah, there's nothing else really to say here, to be honest. I'll see you guys next week with another even bigger mech.